Hello everyone, this is Chaster Channel. My name is Kirill and we talk about watches here. Today we have the Seiko Save the Ocean, a representative of a special series. This means that today we are helping to save the oceans from various waste and other pollutants. This solar-powered chronograph represents the very first Save the Ocean series from 2018, which was dedicated to humpback whales. And the Seiko SSC675J1 model you can purchase at my store, chasterclub.com. The link will be in the description. The watch looks very pleasant up close, but I can't shake the feeling of, a decent thickness. Although it's acceptable here, it seems that due to the fully polished edge, they appear a bit thick. However, everything is within reason here. Beveled lugs, satin finish only on the top of the lugs, only on the side of the case, and actually on the clasp. The back cover is also fully polished. Here is information about Japanese origin, material steel. And by the way, 200 meters of water resistance is certified. That means this is a true diver, which also has a bezel to match with ribbed sides and a black coating. Also, there are two black buttons responsible for the chronograph function and the crown. The bezel has a dual color insert. The first quarter is blue, light blue, and then on the remaining third, a deep shade of blue. And the dot with luminescent material, 120 clicks, unidirectional bezel. By the way, it turns very easily, pleasant clicking sound. But among Seiko divers, this is probably one of the easiest rotating bezels. The Hardlex glass is flat, no surprises here. But under the glass, we find a truly beautiful dial. Take a look, this outer beveled ring with minute markings and even fractions beautifully transitions onto a blue base where the luminescent indices are located. And this base has a slight gradient at different angles. The shade transitions from dark to light, although the color of this base is essentially uniform. Such an interesting effect. And now the central part of the dial is directly dark, with these stripes not parallel, as you can see. Here they slightly curve. This is a reference to humpback whales. Such stripes are located on their bodies. We had a similar model from this series in a samurai case. There the dial was less busy and you could see these stripes better. Here we are greeted by three subdials as well. The second hand is shifted to the 9 o'clock area on one of them. And by the way, an interesting effect. Firstly, this hand differs from the hour and minute hands. It seems gray too, but the coating, the hour and minute hands are satin finished, whereas the second hand is sandblasted. And another difference is the counterweight. Here is the point with luminescent material, but on the hour and minute hands, there is nothing on the counterweight. The luminescent material is on the main part. Chronograph seconds, this white central one. Start naturally with the top button, minutes below, measurement up to 60 minutes, and precision, of course, 1/5 second. Why, of course? It could be guessed from the markings on the bezel, and in principle with Seiko we often encounter calibers with such precision, in this case V175, powered by solar energy. The autonomous operation mode is designed for about 6 months, meaning they will work for almost half a year in the dark without any kind of recharging, although they recharge from both the sun and light. 24-hour indication around 3 o'clock. Here the date window is hidden. Look from afar, it doesn't draw unnecessary attention. Very discreet. There is also a split function in the chronograph, by the way, a lap timer. We return. Stop on the top, reset on the bottom. And all of this is screw down. Right now, of course, I've unscrewed everything, so the buttons work. However, when diving underwater, of course, you need to screw everything back, just like the crown. In the first position, we have the date change here. In the second, we move the hands. Everything is classic. Well, in general, similar chronographs starting with SSC we have encountered more than once. And speed timers have similar references, and the conceptual series models also have interesting honeycomb-shaped dials. Calibers are more or less the same, but the design is different for each one. Lumibrite. Well, you'd think there's nothing left to surprise us, but take a look at the second hand, or rather its counterweight, which I mentioned to you. Right now it appears that the seconds are around 10 to 15, but no. I remind you that this is the counterweight, which means you need to look diametrically opposite. Now the seconds show 45. It sits neatly on the wrist. The dimensions are actually quite small. The height at the edges of the lugs is 50.4 millimeters, but they taper, so everything is quite acceptable. The diameter is 43.5 millimeters, also within reason, as is the thickness of 13.8 millimeters. Indeed, the thickness seems more or less normal, but visually they even appear a bit thick on the wrist, probably due to comparison with such a relatively small bracelet. Its width is 20 millimeters, designed for a circumference of up to 21 centimeters, plus a diver's extension, which allows adding 1.5 centimeters branding. And as I noted, polishing, the wide central polished links also shine, sparkle. It all looks great, beautiful, and attractive, of course. And the overall weight, well, let's say a decent 186 grams, almost 200. You can feel the watch on your wrist. But I wouldn't say it burdens it much, especially since you'll most likely be removing links, and the weight will decrease to, I think, about 150 grams. Naturally, you wouldn't wear such a model with a suit. However, the sporty diver style allows it to be used in the summer period both on a bare wrist and with a covered sleeve, during leisure, during sports, and just for urban use. A truly attractive blue shade, playing with both dark and light tones. Well, it looks great. Also, readability remains good both during the day and at night. Perhaps some people don't rate solar chronographs and only pay attention to mechanical ones, but here it's really the contents that matter. Beautiful blue tones, as I already mentioned, and the Save the Ocean series. The stripes of the humpback whale, well, you must agree, they make the model stand out from the crowd. Even though they are not as noticeable here as in those same samurais, still, even from afar, they do their job. The dial looks very, very attractive. And the feeling, of course. Steel with a cool finish and a solar-powered movement and 200 meters of certified water resistance. Well, you'd think, what else do you need for an urban chronograph? Everything seems good. If someone really doesn't like the blue tint, Seiko has a similar black-green chronograph, not a Save the Ocean. By the way, we also have it. Plus, the Samurai is still available. In general, if you want to save the oceans and at the same time acquire really cool models, I advise you to turn your attention to this series. In the end, I would like to know your opinion about this model. Be sure to leave it in the comments under the video. And if you liked it, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. That's all. Goodbye, everyone.